can women lose weight?
I love that question. So one of the things that I like to do is to...
What I found was when I stopped leading with lawyer and started leading with coach, I instantly made more money. And that, I think people spend way too much time on making the page perfect, not enough time on getting the marketing right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mind blown.
Energy high, excuses low. Energy high, excuses low. Energy high, excuses low. Energy.
Hey guys, have you ever wondered how you can break into corporate and land more corporate contracts? Well, today we are going to do a coaching episode with an incredible doctor who is interested in just that. And so if you're ready to scale your business, you have expertise, you have services that you want to scale, this is the episode that you should be tuning into. Welcome to the Speak Your Way to Cash podcast. My name is Ashley Kirkwood. I am here to give you value and help you to sell more services. So all of our content does just that. And today we have an incredible guest with us. Welcome to the Speak Your Way to Cash show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here. So let's start from the beginning. Introduce yourself to our audience. Let us know what you do and what you aspire to do.
Absolutely. My name is Dr. Natasha Ryan. Feel free to Google me. I'm a functional medicine doctor, and I help women lose weight, balance their hormones, increase energy, and I work with a lot of women who have perimenopause and menopause and all those types of things. So yeah, if you're having any of those types of issues, absolutely let me know.
That's amazing. So before we jump into the coaching, I know that our audience would be so upset with me if I did not dive into how can women lose weight, okay?
Yes,
because I have been on my weight loss journey. I've lost weight, I've gained it back, lost weight again.
Yeah.
The only thing that's worked for me is drastic diet changes. Consistently, like that's been the only consistent thing is just eating real food.
I love that question. So what I like to say is there's not one answer, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think it's important not to guess.
Yes.
And so one of the things that I like to do is do a lot of what is called functional medicine testing. And so what that is me really diving deep to see what's happening with many different parts of your body. So as a functional medicine doctor, the gut health is huge. It's a really important thing. So what's happening with your gut? Because believe it or not, that can impact your ability to lose weight. Because if you have bad bugs, something called dysbiosis, it can put you in a state of inflammation. And being in a state of inflammation is one of the biggest things that kind of prevents women from losing weight. In addition to that, hormone imbalances can be a huge one, whether it's a thyroid issue, the stress hormones come from the adrenal glands, so what's something called adrenal fatigue. All these things absolutely have an impact on your weight. And we're even getting more studies about the environment. So all these toxins and chemicals kind of sit in your fat cells, and really they kind of make it really difficult to lose weight. So that's why I like to, I don't want to guess, I test, and then we get answers, and I create a plan specifically for you.
And this plan would be like what to eat, what you should be doing, like
absolutely.
Exercises or
all of it. And so we get the data because I'm a very data-driven provider. Once I get that information, then I'm able to really kind of see, well, what kind of diet is specifically helpful for you and your needs and your goals and your body, your physiology. And in addition to that, I do use a lot of supplementation as well, various nutrients based on the testing. Like for example, I might do some nutrient deficiency testing to see if you're missing anything, and then we kind of supplement, because even missing, I'll give you an example. For example, magnesium. If you're low in magnesium, you can have high levels of inflammation. Same thing with vitamin D, right? And Black folks tend to be very low in vitamin D, which can lead to a whole host of other issues.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
So if you are someone who's like working out, not losing anything, eating right, like up and down, it could literally be something that a test could give you the information you need to like advise on.
Absolutely. And this whole working out thing can actually be detrimental to your health, because it can actually trigger stress hormones, something called cortisol. And I always tell women, especially if you're kind of in that midlife, you gotta be really careful about what kind of exercise you do. You know, things like CrossFit and all these super strenuous exercises, you don't want to be doing like too often, because again, they can trigger inflammation and stress.
Really?
Yes.
So what about weightlifting?
Yeah, so no, weightlifting is awesome, right? It's just that you want to pace yourself and you want to make sure you have a good amount of recovery. That's super important to, if you're gonna work out, you must give your body time to recover.
What do you think about tennis?
Yeah, oh, tennis is awesome. Tennis is really good cardio. So you're really kind of moving your body and burning calories, and it's a lot of fun. I can't do it, so props to you. Props to you, my friend. I have tried there and I failed. Oh, Oh, yes. Yes,
I've
ma'am.
always thought, like, because I'm not an athletic I
Yeah.
have never considered, the first time anyone
Yeah.
has ever called me athletic was like last year when I started playing tennis. So I feel like, okay, I was like, okay, tennis must be
Yes.
pretty simple then, because I am not an athletic
Not so
person.
much, ma'am.
Really?
No.
That makes, because it's
That
maybe
coordination
hand-eye.
thing wasn't just, it
Yeah.
just wasn't my thing. So I'm so
Yeah.
happy that you're doing well at it.
Yeah,
That's
well,
awesome.
I haven't won a game yet, but we're trying. We're trying to get there.
I love it.
I do great in practice. Then the
Yes.
games come, and it's always like this
Yes.
lady who's like 65, and she comes on, oh, baby, I just started playing, and then mops the floor with me every time. And I'm just like, I'm not going to believe him anymore.
She's out there all day, every day, playing
all
her
day,
tennis.
every day. And like, they're really good at placing the ball.
Yeah.
So just like that mental strategy of, I'm
Yeah.
going to put that ball right at her feet. And they make me run. So like, oh, let's see how she likes this. So
Oh, man.
I'm still figuring it out, but I do really, really love it. Like,
That's
it's just,
awesome.
it's fun. It doesn't really even feel like
Yeah.
I'm working out, and the next day I feel it.
Versus pickleball, have you tried pickleball?
I haven't tried pickleball.
I haven't tried it either
I hear
yet.
people love pickleball, and they
Okay.
say that it's
Yeah.
easier and they like it more than tennis. Everyone I've heard says that.
I might try it.
Yeah, pickleball seems like that could be cool. I haven't done
Yes.
that. I want to get into swimming because my daughter does swimming.
Yes, my daughter was on the swim team.
Oh yeah.
Yes, she
yeah.
was.
But that's cool. So it's good to know
Yeah.
that there's hope, because
Yes,
I think
ma'am.
this all feels so evasive and difficult, and it can really take a hit on your confidence when you're just
Yeah.
constantly trying things and it doesn't work.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think there comes a point where you really should kind of seek out help from someone who can help you get answers. Because when I speak to people, often they've tried all of the advice from the podcast, from the internet. Like they have tried it all, right?
Yes.
And still, it's just like buying a random supplement may not, it might help a little bit.
Or like the flat tummy teas.
Yes.
And the weight. What do you think of those waist trainers you just wear for like?
I mean, they make you sweat in a local area, so it may kind of temporarily shrink, but I don't know if it's a long-term solution because really, again, it's like you're doing that, but are you really truly changing your major habits, which is a big part of it.
And that's the hardest part. I feel like that is the hardest
Oh my
part, is
gosh.
just eating food that you can trace its origin.
I know, absolutely. Unfortunately, in our country, we have a lot of fast food, processed food, right? When you kind of go abroad, they have different laws about the food, about the chemicals that can be in their food. And that's something we have to work on in our country. But yeah, a lot of chemicals in our food and toxins and just, refined food. So.
Yeah, it's not good. Even with visiting schools for my daughter, they give kids really bad food. I mean, sugary drinks and all, like, it's just not, it's so hard to keep a good, like, safe, like, home structure. Then they go to school and it's like, oh yeah, they give them chocolate milk every day. It's like, what?
Yeah, Cheetos.
All my work.
They're baked Cheetos, but they're still Cheetos, right? Oh yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness. Okay, great. So you offer these services.
Yes, I do.
And so moving into a little bit of why you're here and like the coaching side of things.
Absolutely.
Is your business right now, like you have, first off, congrats on the growth of your business.
Thank you.
Secondly, you're looking to have some income that may still be active, but you're able to charge a premium for.
Yes.
So let me know, starting off, like, what do you charge for your current services? And then what services are you looking to add?
Yeah, so for right now, I'll charge around, I just changed to $9K for a program, and that's typically around 4 to 6 months for my program. It includes a lot of testing and that kind of thing, and a lot of nutrition-based advice, all those types of things. So yeah, it's around 9K right now. It was less, and a part of my kind of journey is my mindset around money. So actually, for many, many years, I undercharged. And it really negatively impacted me, and I almost left the profession. It was that bad because I just couldn't get a handle on feeling like I was worth, I guess, charging where I needed to charge. I felt guilty about charging a decent amount of money. And, when people see my reviews and see how I've really impacted people's lives, I really should be charging more. I should have been charging more a long time ago. And so now I'm having to play kind of catch up. Because I didn't make that decision to charge what I was worth for many, many years.
Okay. And are your clients paying up front the 9K?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So, or I'll split it in half or some kind of payment plan, that kind of thing. But yeah, we get it up front because I have a lot of expenses associated with that.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you're at 9K. Do you have another package, or is it just the one
Yeah,
package
so
at 9K?
I would like to have a 15K, so that's kind of the next step. And I would like to do a lot more using what are called wearables wearables, like something called a CGM, a continuous glucose monitor, maybe a heart rate monitor, like using more tools like within that package, and then stepping up even some more lab testing. So that would require a bigger investment.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. And you have how many client results or success stories?
Oh, I have quite a few. I mean, I have about, now, I used to not ask for reviews, so that's another thing that I'm really trying to get better at. But I have about 24, 25 five-star reviews on Google.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so I'm working on remembering to ask people to write me a review. I probably would have had 50 or more back in the day if I would have just been really more conscientious about asking people for a review.
Yeah. And how long have you been doing this?
Yeah, almost 20 years.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, almost 20 years.
Okay, so when you think of your ideal business in a year, what are you making?
Oh gosh, I don't understand why I'm not making about $1 million a year. I really should be at that. When I see, I mean, you have health coaches who have specific types of programs making $1 million a year, and so I feel like it's not an overly lofty goal. I think a few years ago I would have been like, are you crazy?
Yeah.
But now, because I have access to wonderful mentors like yourself and other people, I know what's possible.
Yeah,
and so it doesn't sound crazy when I say, yeah, you can set your sights at making $1 million in a year.
You know what's interesting? And I think like every like if you're a medical doctor, a therapist, a lawyer, any profession that's regulated, I want you to say if you agree with this in the comments. So what I found was when I stopped leading with lawyer and started leading with coach, I instantly made more money.
Absolutely.
Which is, it's just like, it blew my mind.
Yeah.
Because I was like, what?
Absolutely.
Like, and then I just stopped, because I used to talk a lot more about like, oh, you know, I went to Northwestern, I'm cum laude, and no one knew what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Like, they were just like, Northwestern, what's that? I'm like, it's the top 10 school in the world, number one. Cum laude means graduate at the top of your class.
Absolutely.
Like, it is so hard to do. And then as a Black woman, like, it is just not happening all the time. But once I stopped leading with that and I started leading more with just like, I almost felt like I had to, I don't know if okay, y'all know I be talking real on this podcast. I had to dumb it down. I had to stop. And I never forget, I heard Terrence J., who used to host 106 in Park. I don't know if you remember this. So I heard him speak, and he's very smart. And one thing that he said when he spoke to us was, I have a vast vocabulary, but the media executives basically told him, you need to speak at like, I think it was a third or a sixth grade level, because that is the level at which people will give you their ear. And when I started talking like that, just like plain language, super easy to understand, in the pain points of the buyer, not leading so much with lawyer, but making that like a bonus. So almost like, I'm gonna help, I'm a strategist, I'm gonna help you do this, I'm a coach, and then by the way, I happen to have this law degree I've spent my whole life working for, which it felt like. And so that really does help. So let me ask you this. If it would mean that you'd make more money, are you willing to lead with health coach with a medical degree versus the medical degree?
Yeah, so I have a doctorate in naturopathic medicine, and I feel like I kind of am starting to do that for sure, letting people know that I'm just accessible from anywhere. And so I do want to kind of give that messaging of being more of a wellness coach, and especially in corporate. Absolutely.
Definitely. Okay, because I know like that is hard. I feel like I had a aversion to that.
I understand. Yes, because we work so hard for the credential.
Yes, we work hard
I totally
for the
get that.
We really do.
Absolutely.
Okay, good. Okay, awesome. So you said at least $1 million a year.
Yes.
And when are you wanting to do that? Which year?
I mean, I don't know that I'll get there this year, but I would like to kind of shoot for the, stars hit the moon, whatever the expression is, and try my best to be on the way so that, in 2026, I can have a solid foundation and know exactly, and systems in place to know how to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how are you getting clients now?
So what's interesting about that is that I have a few connections with an influencer or a couple of influencers, and I find that I do get referrals from them, and that's because I do a lot of talks. So, for example, I did a talk yesterday, actually. I did a talk yesterday, and I was talking about the impact of hormones on work performance. And so someone scheduled on my calendar for tomorrow based on me doing that talk. And so I feel like, over the past year and a half, 2 years, I have gotten clients just from having, being in community with people, referrals.
Okay.
That's the main way that and also Google. So I have a lot of organic reach on Google. I don't really do Google ads, and yet I still get a decent amount of clients per year. Not every month, but maybe once every other month from Google.
Okay, so
Yeah.
let's map this out.
Yeah.
Okay, so your offer, what's the name of your offer?
It's just Dr. Ryan's functional medicine program. I don't have a specific name.
Okay. So this is the 9K program.
Yeah, and I really kind of just went back up to 9K. So I was at 9K, and then this whole mindset thing, I was struggling with that price point. So I went back down to 5K, and so I sold several at that, and now I'm back up to 9.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so when you said you struggled with selling it at 9K for a few, was that like out of 10 calls, how many would close on
Maybe
this?
one.
One would close
One or
at
two.
9K.
Yeah, one. Yeah.
One would close it. Okay, so out of 10 calls,
Yeah.
one would close at 9K. And then out of 10 calls, how many would close at 5K?
Like 4. So
4.
it was moving more. Yeah.
Okay. So in that case, if you can get 4 calls, so you can generate 20K versus generating 9K, then you make more at the 5K price point. Do you have anyone who works for you?
No, I'm a solopreneur.
Okay. So that would be the thing. I wonder if you could get someone to do a lot of the heavy lifting so that you could have like a 5, 10, 15
That would be great.
offer.
Yeah.
Or at the 5K, you amend the offer where you may want, I think that it's good to have levels because you need a price point that's going to be an anchor.
Yeah.
Right?
And some people have more health and wellness issues than others.
Yep.
So
So you would say that some people are easier to service, like, or
Absolutely.
not even easier, but the time ratio between how you're serving client A could be different than client
And
B.
the lab ratio, like needing different labs versus someone who has really more complex issues might need a little bit more.
Okay. So I wonder if we could build out something where, have you ever tested the 7,500?
Yes, I think maybe a couple of years ago. Yeah.
Okay.
I just wasn't consistent with it, but yes.
So
That's
you,
a good,
you could do
Yeah.
where you're at 7,500,
Yeah.
15,
Yeah.
and then you're at a 25.
Okay. Yeah.
And then let's say you were to do this.
Yeah.
Then one of the things we'd want to look at is like how many we'd need to sell at each price point. Now, I love using ChatGPT for this, so I'm going to literally use it live during this so you all can like hear the prompt.
Yeah.
So I have 3 offers, one at 7,500, one at 15,000, and one at 25,000. The goal is to make $1 million at the end of 2025. If I could sell 15 of the 7,500, how many of the additional offers would I need to sell? And give me like 3 or 4 different scenarios. Like if we sold 10 at 7,500, 5 at 15,000, a certain at 25,000. Give me 3 scenarios of the way I can make $1 million with these 3 price points. And then let's see what it gives us. I think 75 versus 5 is not a big jump. Because what you can do is a $2,500 deposit and 2 more payments of $2,500.
Yep.
Which is pretty easy and solid.
Yeah.
So, okay. So scenario 1, you'd want to be at, this isn't even that bad. So, okay, at this scenario, for your $1 million year, you'd be 15 here, 35 here, and then 10 at 25. And to be honest, your $25,000 offer, this could be comprised of individuals or corporations. Like it wouldn't really matter. And then at the corporate level, you could have a whole different 3-tier that starts here and goes up to 100.
Okay.
So you could do a 25, 50, 75. So we'll start B2C and then we'll do a B2B offering. And when I say B2C, for those of you all watching at home and taking notes, as you should be taking notes, for B2C, this just means business to consumer. And I think that when I think of B2C, I think of it more of how people buy, because it may be technically B2B. Like you have a business, I have a business. But the way this transaction happens is more analogous to a B2C offer, where I'm selling to an individual consumer, even though we both represent companies. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So the way you would sell this would be analogous to a B2C sale, even if these people may be buying it on behalf, like the CEO of a company may buy this.
Right.
So 15, 35, 10. Now that would mean by the end of the year, you are, I haven't done like hand math in a while, 3, 4, 5, 6, you would be selling 60 of your offers.
Okay.
Now, last year, how many of your offers did you sell?
That's a great question. I know that I brought in about 110K.
And so if you look, and they were all at, was 5,000?
Yeah, 5 or 6, because I was giving people the option of doing a pay in full 5 or 2 payments of 3,000.
Okay, so last year you sold about 20 of your offers.
Yeah.
Okay, so then one way to think about making your $1 million year just on this offer, and then we'll talk B to B in a minute, is if you look at all the things you did to sell this offer, to sell 20 of these, can we 3X it to sell 60 of this offer at these price points? So that's one. And the things that you mentioned, you said organic.
Yes.
People finding you on Google.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned speaking, right?
Speaking and an influencer.
Speaking, and then you got referrals from influencers.
Yes.
Okay, cool. And that just represents influencers. So how many speaking engagements did you do?
Last year I probably did 6.
Okay.
And that was for a specific like women's group for that particular influencer.
Okay.
And so far I've done 2 this year.
Okay, awesome. And then organic, this is just them finding you with SEO and things like that? Okay.
Exactly.
And so you haven't tried Google Ads yet?
No, I have not.
Okay, but there's a lot of opportunity for that
I
because
think
Google
so.
Ads are pretty simple.
Yeah.
And you could do some that you could buy keywords. So you could
Yeah.
buy the keyword of like weight loss, inflammation, over 40 menopause, hormones. You could buy some of those keywords and then even longer threads of those keywords and look at those search terms.
Yeah.
Do you make any YouTube videos or anything?
No, but when people Google my name, one of the top kind of things that come up is a YouTube video that I did with that particular influencer. So I know that, YouTube is a good kind of platform for me.
Okay. And what about content?
I have, let's see, I have Facebook, I have Instagram, but I don't really consistently. I know y'all gonna yell at me, but I do not. I don't post consistently, Ashley.
Okay. So there's opportunities for content.
I have a TikTok too.
Opportunities for ads.
Yeah.
And you have one influencer referral source right
Who's
now?
really solid. So I would love if I could have 2 more relationships at least with influencers who have a similar audience as mine and a really good amount of people in their group.
Is she a health influencer?
Fitness.
Fitness influencer.
Yeah, and
okay,
that pairs well just because, she's not doing labs and that kind of thing. And so I kind of come in and do that or do a lot of wellness education, and she really appreciates it. And it moves, the people really respond well to it.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Have you heard of Jim Hookie?
Who?
Jim Hookie.
No.
She's if you look her up on Instagram, she's another fitness influencer.
Yeah.
Corporate background, really great person.
Yeah.
So
and I have reached out to several influencers on Instagram. It's just that they don't really, haven't gotten back to me, but yeah.
How did you reach out to them?
DM.
But like, what'd you say?
I kind of introduced myself and I mentioned that I was interested in finding affiliates for my 2 workshops that I have. And so I kind of led with that just to have a little bit of revenue share possibly with them. So yeah.
So for the influencer that you have this great relationship right now, how much in referral fees would you say she's been able to generate?
Several $1,000s last year. I don't know the exact.
Would you think it's over 10,000 or under?
Under 10,000.
Okay. So that would be, so the reach out needs to be a little more strategic. And what I would do is just pay them for their time. So I would say like, hey, I'd love to pay you $1,500 to promote the next webinar that I have coming up. I need 3 posts, 3 story links, and a link in bio.
Okay.
And if you could do that for the next, 30 days for this campaign, I'll pay you $1,500. And then, and on top of that, I'll give you a 10% referral fee for anyone that I close from your audience.
Okay.
And just see what they say. And you may be able to start lower, like, hey, I'll pay $500 or $750.
Right.
For individual influencers, we typically are paying anywhere from $500 on the low end to like $1,500, $2,000 for them to do like a particular video.
Okay.
And then what we track is when people register for that webinar, you need a way to track like, I came from this person's name.
Yes.
So let's say you hire 10, you need on your webinar page when they register, how did you learn about this? And have those names as a drop down.
Like a drop down, yeah.
Yep, and then they select those names, and that's how we can track the success of it.
So you don't have to give them an affiliate link. You're not doing anything like, okay.
I just give them my link, and then I just pay them out front.
That makes sense.
Because most people they can't see the earning potential. Now, let's say the influencer that you've worked with who's done really well for you, if she's made 15 or 20,000, I would say, hey, I have a great referral relationship with another influencer in your niche. She's made over $10,000 last year by just making a few posts. Are you okay okay with, like, would you like to also be a part of that program?
Yeah.
But if it's a couple thousand, they're going to be like, oh, I need my money up front. We don't know whether or not this is going to work, and whether or not their audience will actually be a good fit.
Right.
And they don't know that. So I would just pay them outright.
Okay.
And I would just pitch some big fitness influencers.
Okay.
And see what they say. They may counter with another offer, but I find that if they don't do a lot of sponsored posts, then influencers don't always know how to charge. So if you have a budget and you're like, all right, I want 5, I could pay $1,000 each. I'm going to invest $10,000 in this campaign.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll get 5 of them, then I'll do some Google ads. Like, if that's your budget, then just say, hey, I have this budget. This is the program. Would you like to be a part of our program? We pay. Because I get contacted every day by people wanting me to be an influencer. They're like, I'm gonna send you my product. You just wear this hat on your Instagram. And I'm like, I don't even know you. I don't know this hat. I don't want to wear this. And they're like, just do it for free. We'll give you 10% of these little hat sales. And I'm just like, I don't have time for this.
Right.
And so who knows? And if they're really good at what they do, they may be generating millions of dollars already. And so it's it's like a time consideration. But if you have a very defined program, and all they need to do to get in it is like, just apply. Like, I already think you're a great fit. We could fast track your application. Make it almost like an influencer program.
Okay.
So make it an offer. You know what I'm saying? Like,
offer,
hey,
like
you'd like to be one of my, maybe you can have a name for it even.
Okay,
we didn't go into like the name of the offer, but I do think that when you're selling it, one thing that'll help is having a name for the offer.
Okay, absolutely.
So, and it could be anything from 90 days to smaller waist, 90 days, like whatever makes the most sense and feels authentic to your brand.
Sure.
But something that's action oriented, because then it's like, hey, we're gonna do 90 days to a smaller waist, and this is like 120 days. This is like, 6 months. And this is like, so this is just, weight loss. This could be weight loss and energy. This could be weight loss, energy, and fitness. And so at each level, you give them a different level of access to tools that can help them with their health journey.
Love that.
So if you're just looking for weight loss, just, 7,500 will get you started. And if you want to keep going after that first period, then we can upgrade you to the 15,000, which gives you weight and nutrition.
Right.
But if you're like, hey, I want all 3, I want to work with you for the next year, I want this year to be the year I focus on my health, you should do the $25,000 package.
Right.
And you can break that up into monthly payments.
Love that.
So that'd be great, but I would have a really good name.
Okay. I'll work on that.
Yeah, a name would be good for it. But if influencers has given you the most bang for your buck, that in speaking, I would be totally developing an influencer program and make it like an offer. And like, hey, you've been selected. I think you'd be amazing. We want to invite you into our paid influencer program. You would actually be one of 5 influencers that we work with over the next 60 days on a campaign. We pay you $1,500. You post 3 times. It's going to be less than 15 minutes of your time.
Yeah.
And you're going to get $1,500 for 15 minutes.
Okay.
And that is just like a really good offer. And it tells them everything that's in it. And it's like, if you'd like to be considered for this, just do a quick application, less than 5 minutes.
Okay.
And then we are going to give our final decisions on this date.
Right.
And just like check in with them, like, hey, were you able to apply? I know it's not that many questions.
Should I have an audience requirement, like how many?
Yeah, because you'll invite them.
Followers.
So I would definitely have, and I would look more so than followers, I'd look at engagement. Because one of the things, like even if you look at our page, we have a lot of followers.
Yeah.
But all of our followers have come from me going viral a few times, which means if you go viral, a whole lot of people just, we had 70,000 followers in like 2 weeks. Because a post just went viral. And it was a post from one of our live events, and that's how we grew to over 100,000. And now our following is it's a lot more, they're becoming a lot more indoctrinated because it's growing slowly, but the people that are coming in, it's like they're really coming in for the right reasons.
Yeah.
And so it's growing a little bit slower. So depending on the post, we may or may not have a lot of engagement. But let's say you have a fitness influencer and they have hundreds and hundreds of comments, but they only have 10,000 followers. I would take that over someone who has sporadic engagement, because that person has a community that's like diehard.
So that's awesome.
So I would do that. And then I'd also ask them, hey, what's the size of your email list? And what's the size of your text message list?
Right.
So I wouldn't just look at followers, and I would say, hey, do you do a YouTube show? So in that application, that's the questions that I'd be asking, because then you can say, hey, I'd love to be on your podcast. If you let us on your podcast, that's a bonus of this.
Okay.
If you let us do this, or can we go live? Are you open to a live?
Yes.
Finding out whether or not they'd be a good fit. But I would have an influencer program, since that's a good feeder.
Yeah.
And then speaking, if you can speak at an event, whether they pay you or not, where you can actually pitch your offer, even if it's just pitch a sales call, that is going to be a game changer.
Okay.
Every single month, you should be doing 3 to 5 speaking engagements.
Yeah. Yes.
Because if this is where, if you imagine you got 6 speaking engagements and that equaled over 100,000, if you could get 4 a month, then we're at $1 million.
Now, where am I getting those besides what I have already?
That's a good point. So in terms of the speaking, okay, so let's do this. I'm gonna put a note here to cover where to find speaking engagements. So I know everyone watching is gonna be like, okay, where do we find that? So, okay, and then we'll just come up with like a list of 10 places or so that you can find speaking engagements, paid or otherwise, that could work for your brand.
Okay.
So speaking, so we'll come back to that, and then organic content. So you have to, you have to post content. Okay, I'm not gonna go, I've been watching Gary Vee. I even got my husband listening to a little Gary Vee. Gary Vee is like,
he's hardcore.
y'all,
I know Gary
I am
Vee.
nice to y'all. Like some people are like, oh, Ashley, so intense. Go watch a Gary Vee video.
Yeah, he's hardcore.
He's hardcore.
Yeah.
He's like multiple times a day, every day.
Yeah.
Now, this was my 6-figure content formula.
Okay.
We posted 5 times a day, once a day, and I would go live 5 times a week.
Wow.
So that's it. And honestly, you can schedule all the posts. The only thing that can't be scheduled is going live. But now on YouTube, you can actually schedule the lives, where literally you get dressed for a day, you do 5 or 6 YouTube videos one day in a week, and you just change your top, and then you just schedule those videos to go live every single day on YouTube and on Instagram and on Facebook. There's a tool called StreamYard that you can use to just schedule your lives. So you pre-record it and you schedule your lives. So that can keep you pretty consistent.
Yeah.
And what's great is now, you know, it's our wedding anniversary coming up, so we're gonna be out for a couple weeks. So we have so much content that now we're like, okay, we're gonna stream this live that I recorded back in the day, or take one of your speaking engagements and put it on YouTube.
Okay.
That could be another way to go live. You don't have to do it live, but I think 5 times a week, give people content.
Yeah.
And this content needs to be like base level, simple content. So if you go to Google right now and you type into google.com and you're like, okay, what most women are typing, how to lose weight, right? All right, so this is what comes up. How to lose weight fast, how to lose face fat, how to lose belly fat, how to lose weight in your face, how to lose stomach fat, how to lose belly fat fast.
Yeah.
I was at, I spoke at Funnel Hacking Live with Russell, which was amazing. And the guy actually said he grew his YouTube, I think it's over 1 million views really fast. And what he did was he just put in how to lose, and all the videos that came up, he made all those videos.
That makes sense,
So that was all, like those were all his titles. How to lose weight fast, how to lose face fat, how to lose belly fat. And so when you think of like, even if I put in how to make money, it's like how to make money with Google Sheets, how to make money from home, how to make money on TikTok, how to make money on YouTube. Like if I just took all those and then that became my YouTube content, or how to get paid to speak, how to get paid to speak at schools, how to get paid, like it gives you what people are searching in that particular vantage point. So I would make content on that.
Yeah.
Your organic, now here's the thing.
Yeah.
Organic is a commercial. It's not direct selling. It's what we call passive selling. What you have to engage in to get to $1 million is active selling.
Yes.
So your speaking engagements are going to be active selling, because you're going to speak, lead them to book a free complimentary like health assessment or something like that, or give them a health assessment that they can fill out as a survey. And if they qualify, offer them to book a call. Which
How
you can
we
set that
qualifying?
up. So you qualify, so whenever you're looking to qualify your leads, and this will be different for everyone, but when you're looking to qualify your leads, you wanna look for, what problem do they have? Is it a problem you can solve? Do they have the desire to solve it within a short period of time? And do they have the means to pay for the solution?
Yeah.
So those are the 3 areas when we're thinking about qualifying any lead. Is like, okay, do they have the problem? So for you, are you looking to lose weight in the next 60 to 90 days? Or really 30 days? Are you looking to lose weight in the next 30 days? You know, is this a problem that you're looking to solve?
Yeah.
If I could give you a solution to this problem, would you be willing to pay for it within the next 7 to 14 days to get started? And then, do you have the means to solve this problem? So currently, our health programs range from $7,500 to $25,000, and we have payment plans.
Okay.
Is that something you're willing to invest to ensure that you have lasting health results?
Because I've always kind of been told, like, I shouldn't put the price, but I love that I'm kind of saying, no, it's from this range to this range. So it's like they're not even really going to get on the call if they don't agree with the price range.
And that's great. And then your options could be, yes, I am willing to invest that. Or it could be, yes, but I would need payment plans or additional funding solutions to
Yeah.
pay for it.
Yeah.
Or no, I have no financial ability to invest in this offer right now.
I love
And if
that.
they click no, you can set up your Calendly link where if they click no, they don't get offered a call.
Okay, so we're doing this. I have Calendly. Are
Yeah,
we doing this
you can do it in
within
Calendly. They have
Okay.
logic in there where you could say if they
Oh,
click no to
perfect.
this,
Yeah.
they're not linked to a call. They're linked to some other free resource. It
Yeah.
could be a YouTube video. It could be something else.
I love that.
And that could just tell them, hey, I'd love to work with you. But for us, that's why I love YouTube so much, because if someone can't afford to work with me right now, I'm like, hey, watch this YouTube video. Watch this. Go
Right.
make some money. Come back. Then you can work with us.
Yes.
Or join the membership. I think that's the benefit of having a product suite.
Yeah.
But I will say, in all honesty, we did not have a product suite until we'd already hit, I believe, over $1 million. We recently offered something lower ticket, which is the membership.
I love that.
Before that, all of our price points started at 15.
Oh, okay.
So we were 15 to 25, everything that we offered.
Yeah.
Speaking, coaching, it was all in this range or higher.
Right.
So, we just didn't do it. And that allowed me to hit the $1 million mark earlier because we were priced for it.
Okay.
So
And
I don't think you need it
speaking
right
in
now.
general, what do you think I should be for speaking?
15K minimum.
Okay.
Yeah, 15K minimum. Now,
Okay.
here's the thing about that though, right? So there's two ways. Now we went over content, the 6-figure content formula. We didn't talk about ads yet, but I would just put some money in Google Ads. Like if you even put your name, we have a Google ad running for our name. I don't know what I pay for it. It's probably $25 a day.
Okay.
And it just makes it so that if anyone Googles Ashley Kirkwood, it comes up first and it goes to whatever website I send them to. So that's an easy thing. And what I would do is that page wouldn't be just my website, it would go to a funnel.
Okay.
That is directly tied for, hey, if you are here because you're looking to lose weight and you want to do it in the next 30 to 60 days with a qualified doctor, medical professional at your side, book this call. That is kind of what I would lead it to an actual funnel.
Okay.
Now on the speaking,
Yeah.
there are a lot of places to find speaking engagements.
Okay.
And because you're in the Pitch Your Way to Cash membership, if you go to, you should look under the part where it talks about pitching to conferences.
Oh,
So in the membership, it talks about pitching to conferences. That's where you're gonna live, because that is gonna show you how to pitch for conferences where you can also sell your offers.
Love that.
The best speaking engagement for you is where you get paid on the front end and the back end. So you get paid to speak and you're able to make a offer from the stage, whether it's free or paid.
Awesome.
If it's free, it's a discovery call offer, which is fine.
Okay.
If it's paid, then you could just sell your offers directly and say, if you're interested, meet me in the back at my table. Do you have a book?
Not yet, no.
Okay.
I don't.
I would work on a book, but
Okay.
you don't need a book to hit $1 million.
Okay, okay,
Now, ironically, we did release our book the year before we hit $1 million.
okay.
I think that it does help with credibility, but
Yeah.
more so than credibility, it helped to prime people to know about our offers.
Okay.
So the Speak Your Way to Cash book talks about our different offers and what we sell. So if you have a book, you do want to make sure that it positions you not just as an expert, but as an expert they can buy from.
So maybe create a framework for everything we just did, and then the book is the framework that I talked
Yes,
about.
that's
Sure.
exactly right. So if
Yeah.
you have a framework,
Yeah.
let's say it's a 3-part health framework, part 1 of the book deals with part 1 of that framework, part 2, part 2, part 3, part 3. But you'd want to make sure that it's in plain language.
yeah.
So even when we talked earlier and you were breaking it down, some terminology, you just gotta dumb it all the way down. And I don't say dumb it down like we, your audience, are dumb, but it's like simplify it so much that it takes so little mental energy to understand what you're saying that listening to you doesn't feel like work.
Okay.
Because one thing people are not willing to do is like, oh, what did she say? Let me Google it.
Yeah,
Let me now everything's instant gratification. Everything's sped in like 30 to 60 to 3-minute reels. And so people want to get that information really fast.
Okay.
So as an expert, growing your thought leadership, you have to learn to talk in sound bites.
Okay.
And so it's almost like media training,
Yes.
but it's social media training. It does the same thing.
Yeah.
So for your speaking, one place to look is going to be associations.
Oh, okay.
Now for you, I would focus on women's associations.
Yes, I love that. Yeah.
So if it's like the Black Women Lawyers Associations, women in tech associations, women in finance, women in anything, any association where the association caters to women, that is where you want to speak.
Okay.
And I would make it very, very detailed. Like the speech that you just did, was it on hormones and
The workplace.
performance?
Yes.
Okay.
How hormone imbalances impact performance.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So even a talk where it's like, is your high performance impacted by your hormones? A woman's guide to blank, you know? And so I would be pitching that speech to associations like, hey, I saw you had a conference. It looks incredible. You all had people talk about A, B, C, and D. I didn't see anyone covering the impact of hormones on high performance. I would absolutely love to come in and do that. Here's my background, 20 years of experience, over 25 5-star reviews, helping women to reach their health goals in unconventional ways. And literally also impacting their energy. So I would say that would be huge, like any women's association. And there are association databases where you can find this. And in the portal, we go into more detail about which databases those are. So we give you all of that, but just know like associations for women, and there are free association databases where you can find the association. Then you have to click on the website and go under the events tab and look at their upcoming events. And typically they have event planners, but you can just call the association office and say, hey, I'm looking to get information on the event manager of this event. Should I be talking to the director of marketing or who should I be speaking with? And they'll tell you.
Okay, awesome.
They'll tell you. You can also use some search tools to find director of marketing for these associations. And that's typically where the event department lives. But sometimes they're small and they may only have an event manager and not a director of marketing. But those are the two titles, like director of marketing, event manager, sometimes meeting planner, but that's typically not the title. And then maybe director of events. It's another title to look out for. So that's one. Two is Eventbrite. So you are in driving distance. Like the South is, a lot of the southern states are pretty close. So we can get to Nashville, not too far. Like I would look at anything that you can drive to, and I would look a week to 2 weeks out. And just make sure you're going on Eventbrite. And if it's any event for women, that looks like it's going to be a large event and there's past performance. So when I say past performance, I'm trying to talk in sound bites too. I mean, they've done the event before and a lot of people came. So not like, it's not their first event, because I would hate for you to drive to Nashville, you agree to do this event, and it's like 10 people there, which can still be lucrative based on your price point for your offers. But I would love it to be an event where there's at least 100 to 500 women that are definitely gonna be there. So that's another place. Another place that you can look for conferences is you can look on LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram. So right now, a lot of conferences actually have their own page for their events. So if you search hashtag conference or you just Google conferences and you look at those things, you'll be able to actually find some conferences on these platforms. The other place that we love to look is other speakers. Now, other speakers, the way that I would do this is I would look at other wellness speakers. And I have been preaching this for years, but one of the platforms that we use is eSpeakers. And we sort by wellness speakers who have a rate of $15,000 and higher. And we'll go and look on their LinkedIn pages to see if they've tagged the events that they've spoken at, or their websites, their speakers' websites, and look where they have the testimonials and see what events they've listed. Some speakers, like Gary Vee, actually lists all the events that he's spoken at in 2024 and 2025. So even if the event is past, I would be looking at the event that's coming up in the future. Another place to look now is ChatGPT. They have a new feature called Deep Research. So it's a feature that I really love. Like I pay the $200 a month for ChatGPT, and I use the Deep Research feature because you can say, hey, find all the women's conferences in 2024 that are having an event in 2025. Give me at least 50. And it will pull a list of women's conferences for you directly from there. So this is one that I've been loving recently. Another place is just to Google. But what you wanna Google is actually, you wanna Google articles. So what you would do is say, you would go on Google and you would search top women's conferences for women executives in 2024. And it typically will pull articles that sort by a list of like all the top women's conferences in 2024. So that gives you an entire list of places that you can Google for keynote speaking engagements, because it's gonna give you a list. So it'll literally pull different places. So even right now, if I went on Google and I put in top women's conferences for women executives in 2024, what it'll pull up is going to be women's conferences, the best event guide for 2025. So that was like the first or second article, and it literally is giving like Women of Power Summit is on here. All these huge mega conferences. And what I love about that is that it's going to give you conferences that are large enough where a list like this would be created. So California Conference for Women 2025. Okay, that was in February, so that's probably coming up again in 2026. The Women in Tech SEO Festival, the 8th International Conferences on the Future of Women. So it's giving just a list. So that's what you want.
Conferences like that, if there's travel involved, how do you handle that? Is that in addition to the $15,000 or does that?
Yes, so $15,000 will be your virtual rate, and you could say like, hey, it's $15,000 virtual, and then we have a $5,000 flat travel fee.
Gotcha.
So we do, our travel fee is between $5,000 and $10,000, depending on if I have to bring out team and all that. But typically it's at least $5,000 for my travel rate.
So these prices are virtual, like doing it.
Virtual, yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Yeah, because we just got $25K for a virtual talk. Like
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, virtual is great. And even in the pandemic, we were getting $15, $20K for virtual talks, never leaving the house, 90 minutes.
That's what
on Zoom.
If I'm being very honest, that is the thing that I would love to do, the virtual talks as much as possible.
Okay, great. So then you definitely want to, now I will say, I do think in-person converts a little bit better if you're selling something from the stage, but for getting paid to speak, if you're looking to get 15 to 20K for a virtual talk, you want to make sure you're targeting women's associations that are very large. So they have thousands of members because the way associations get their budget is by member fees. So if it's a small association, they just don't have the budget to bring that person in. And some of these associations have the budget, but they're only bringing in speakers that can fill seats. So I did a YouTube video on how to get paid keynote speeches. And there is a celebrity rate, which is that $50,000, $40,000, like New York Times bestseller. They're typically in that range. Not saying that we can't also get those rates, but traditionally they want to pay those rates to speakers that can fill seats. So you want to make sure that if you go for that rate, you may want to loop in that, hey, we have an influencer program and they could push out the event. And, we have this network that can literally distribute tickets because that's going to get you a higher rate for these big conferences where they're trying to fill seats.
That's awesome. I just want to say you are the personification of why coaching is necessary.
Oh, good.
Because you really do help to elevate people's minds about what is possible, and I just love that.
Yes, thank you.
Yes,
I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so these are like some different ways to do it. So we have like the association, so we have 1, 2, 3 other speakers for sure. ChatGPT, Google is a big one. Eventbrite is one we used early on. I do like it because if you're trying to, like, let's say you don't have anything to do in a particular week and you're like, I could be utilizing this time to get clients. You may want to go and pitch some conferences that are local to you and just go ahead and pitch them. Like, see if they are interested in having you speak. You can talk about your rate, but you can also say, hey, if a speaker cancels, there's a girl, Bianca Robinson. She's always, I think her name is BB. She was one of the first people I ever hired to do a 1-hour call with, but she talked a lot about, and still talks a lot about, how she would get most of her paid speaking engagements, I believe, from being a fill-in speaker. She would still get her rate, but she was like, hey, if anyone cancels, just let me know. And so like that is an option as well. The further out you pitch an engagement, you really want to be in that 3 to 6 months to really get your rate. That 3 to 6 month is great. Now you can still, we've had contracts, 5-figure contracts close within 30 days and within 2 weeks. It's probably the most recent for a conference, but it was because they had an extra slot to fill. So you're almost like either kind of farther in advance or like right there where they're like, oh, I'm so glad you called because our speaker just canceled, or I'm so glad you called, we had this one spot to fill, which can be good. And I do think for that, you can pitch them on your topic and then make sure you tell them, but we also have other customized programs that we can do in case they don't need that topic, but they're looking at something else. So this is how I would do speaking. The other thing, do you host your own events?
Well, the 2 funnels that I kind of told you about before, I have 2 sites. One is an event about learning about blood work, because typically when you go to the doctor, they don't really explain what is happening with your body. So I have a whole kind of 2-hour talk about that. And then the other one is about, I think I talk about 8 different things that impact weight. And so there's 2 different ones available, and I have funnels built out for both of those.
Okay, awesome. And the name of, let's say the 8 different things that impact weight, what's the name of that webinar?
The website is just Dr. Ryan Hormones. I don't have like a real name. The other one though is Blood Work Bootcamp.
Blood Work Bootcamp?
Yeah.
Okay. So when people come to you, are they saying, Dr. Ryan, I want my blood work done?
No, they're saying, well, we use the term functional medicine testing because it's not just blood work. It's blood work, it's gut testing.
But what do they say? What do your clients say?
Honestly, like when we're on the phone talking, they just say, I want to just know what's happening. I want the root cause. They don't even say really blood. I'm sorry, for the event?
No,
Oh.
when your clients are coming to you, what is the language that they're
Yeah,
using to
so they're
describe
saying
their problem?
it's for a language of frustration because they've gone to many different doctors. They're not being heard, they're not being seen. And quite frankly, no one is really getting to the root cause of what's happening with them. Why are they feeling fatigued? Why are they bloated? Why are they having hair loss? And so they come to someone like me and I'm like, listen, we're not gonna guess about this. We're gonna kind of test different systems and really understand what's happening with you. And more than that, I spend like an hour once I get the labs back explaining everything about what is happening. They get a really in-depth understanding of what's happening with their body. And someone the other day, I mean, she almost cried. She was so grateful to understand what was happening with her body. So that's a big part of it.
Okay, so it sounds like you said they're coming to you and saying, hey, why am I so tired? Why am I losing my hair? Why can't I get this weight off?
Yeah.
Of all of those things, what's the one that comes up most frequently?
Low energy. That's a big one.
Low energy.
Low energy
Okay.
and weight are probably the top.
Low energy and weight. Okay, so
Yeah.
then the name, when you're hosting your event, and they're virtual, right?
Yes.
So your virtual event, what's
Yeah.
critically important is
Yeah.
like, if this is your website, this is like the most important part.
Yep.
And this is gonna be the title of the masterclass. Now, it's not a title like the title of a book. It should actually be an action-based title to get them to like want to click.
Yeah.
And that title needs to use their language. So if they're not coming saying like, hey, I really need this blood work done, I want to deep dive on my blood work, then that can't be the title. The
Yes.
title has to be like how to finally get the answers you need and stop, like lose weight, increase energy, and stop losing your hair. Like something that's just very, very basic without having to go to yet another physician or practitioner who can't give you the answers. Like something like that. It's like how to blank without blank.
Yeah. And sometimes they do use the word root cause. I hear that quite a bit. Just kind of, they want to get to the root cause of what's happening.
And that would be in the copy. So what they say most frequently, that needs to be in the title.
Yep.
If they use those words in like in the copy here where you're writing it, it's like, have you ever, like, are you tired of going from doctor's office to doctor's office, getting blood work done, not learning the root cause, and being back in the same position after 30 to 60 days of going through this rigmarole? How about I help you solve that problem and finally give you the answers you need and start to help you out in less than 90 minutes. And then like, I'll be frank with you. We won't be able to do lab work, blood work, all the things that's required. But what I will do is share with you the most frequent causes of inability to lose weight, hair loss, fatigue, like use those language.
Okay.
And then that should be like the description.
Yeah.
And then you just need buttons like give me some answers could be the button, right?
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Like give me answers free. Give me free answers.
Yes.
That could be one of the buttons here. So I do think this title is really important. And if you change that, it still won't attract people to the page, but what it'll do is when you send out that link and when you start promoting it on social media, they'll go there and they'll be more likely to convert. So when you're hosting your own events, the funnel is essentially, you need this page to be good, right? But what's most important is how you're gonna get people to actually see the page.
Right.
And so this is what's gonna determine if people are registering. So once they get to the page, then we need all the copy to be really good.
Okay.
But if we are like, okay, how do we get people to see the page? That's gonna be like the influencers, the ads, the content, like all of that type of stuff will get people to see it. The other thing is like, we talked about content, but I almost put YouTube as its own thing, like you just giving informational content about weight loss. So that could work out really well too. And then from here, people should be able to register. And then at the end of this, you pitch your offers.
Calendly link.
Okay, you have them go to a sales call.
Yeah.
Do you mention the price in the pitch?
No, should I?
I mean, so basically you should test both.
Okay.
You should do one where you don't mention the price and you get them on a sales call.
Yeah.
And you want to evaluate if you're able to convert that sales call at least 20% minimum.
Okay.
The other option is you give them the price and then they book a call. What we typically do is we give them the price and then they book a call if we ever do calls. But we typically sell our offers live.
That's what I would love to do one day, is to not have to feel like I have to get on a call with every single person that's interested.
Yeah, and you don't, so a couple of things, right? So one, at your price point, 15 to 30K, what sales science says is that you're more likely to close if they do a one-on-one call.
Yeah.
However, that one-on-one call doesn't have to be with you. So if you really get, and one of the things we talk about in the Pitch Your Way to Cash membership is that sales script.
Yeah.
And we go even deeper into that in the mastermind. It's like if you get that sales script dialed in and it is solid and you're able to convert with that sales script, like you're saying the same thing each time to convert, that's when you know you can hand it off.
Okay.
So for my law practice, our packages were anywhere from $6,000 to $20,000 a month. And I would do the sales calls and I would convert maybe like 80%.
Yeah.
But I knew I needed to hand it off because I didn't have time to keep doing them. So then when I gave them to my associate, she was able to convert with the same script, 60%. So I was like, oh, this is great. So you may have a little bit of a lag between you and the person you hand it off to.
Yeah.
But after a while, she was able to convert at the same rate as me. So it's just a matter of her getting more comfortable and doing more, converting more leads. But I do think that you can hand it off. Like it doesn't have to be you.
Right.
Now, if you want to host an event where you're selling a higher ticketed offer, typically that event needs to be something like a 2-day event.
Yeah.
3-day event.
Yeah.
The more time people spend with you, the more comfortable they are with making a higher level of investment without a call.
Okay.
Because they feel like they know you. And you could do that virtually. We've done virtual events that have done 6 figures in a weekend.
Awesome.
And then we've done in-person events that have done millions of dollars in a weekend. Wow. So it's just a matter of getting the right people there and then having the content set up to actually convert them.
Okay.
But virtually, you should definitely be able to get them on a call.
Excellent. Yeah.
And the big push is like getting this copy right and then using those channels to push people to that landing page. Because funnels, they only work if people are going through them.
Absolutely.
And that, I think people spend way too much time on making the page perfect, not enough time on getting the marketing right.
Yeah. Yep.
So if you did this, then you have a couple of different options. So the speaking, and this kind of goes into, now, we didn't talk all the way about like different corporate offers.
Yeah.
But if you're pitching these associations, this is essentially a corporate offer.
Right.
The only thing would be, let's say they don't have your full budget. The way you evaluate whether or not you should do that is, can you get your speaking fee from the audience? So there's 2 ways to get paid to speak, from the organizer or from the audience. If I can go to an event and they won't pay me to speak, but they're like, hey, we have 5,000 of your ideal clients. You can pitch your freebie. They can book a sales call with you. It doesn't matter. And I believe I can make $30,000 to $50,000 by speaking to that audience. Then I need to do that. Like I'm going to do that event. Why
Absolutely.
not? Like, I'm 100% going to do that event. So it doesn't matter. So I try to see like, can I get my speaking fee in 30 days, at most 60 days? Is that audience that ripe for me to do that type of a arrangement?
Right. And these women at the associations, are they possibly, in addition to being leads for my kind of one-on-one, people I could talk to about hiring me to do work for their business? Or is this more on?
Yes. So if you're going to an association event, like they will probably want to hire you individually.
Yeah.
And they also could be the decision makers to bring you into their companies.
Right.
So it could go both ways.
Right. Right.
And I would actually say, because keynote speaking, that is a corporate offer. And you can even set it up where it's like, hey, it's $15,000 for me to do a virtual keynote, $25,000 for me to do a virtual keynote with me providing like custom workbooks for everyone in the audience.
Right.
And it's $35,000 if you want me to come in person and print all those workbooks for everyone in the audience. And then it's $50,000 if you want to have a license to replay that workshop over and over and over again for the next 12 months.
Okay.
So you could have packages that are like that.
Yeah.
For corporate, you could actually have wellness packages that are like, hey, we're going to do a fitness challenge where for the next 60 days, I'll take 1,000 of your team members through this very rigorous challenge where they do get their blood work done. They're doing some like exercises they can do at their desk. They're tracking their steps. Like you can come up with a challenge where it's a 6-figure or multi-6-figure offer depending on how many people they put through it.
Okay, yeah, and I actually have the infrastructure to do challenges for wellness, so that would be great. And then Ashley ChatGPT was telling Ashley Chat.
Ashley Chat, for those of you who don't know, in the membership, they actually get a GPT that we've designed, like we coded it, and so it gives them feedback as me.
Yes, ma'am. So Ashley Chat was telling me for one of the wellness options, like one of the tiers, maybe tier 2, it could be 4 talks for maybe 60, 80K, something like that. So that's another thing that would excite me.
And that makes sense because that's about 15K per talk. And then what I would do if a company is like, oh, we only want to buy one, is I would assume that that's bulk pricing. So then I would increase the price a little bit.
Okay.
So if you buy all 4, I could do 15K per talk virtually, and maybe you could include in a bonus. But then if you want to only buy one, maybe we're at 20K.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
This
So I
has
hope you
been-
got a lot of value.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mind blown. I just, like I said, this is why coaching is so important
Mm-hmm.
because I just feel like I needed you to really kind of get me out of my head and really understand what is possible. And I feel a sense of excitement about what is
Good.
possible.
Yeah, and to be
Yeah,
honest, you
yeah,
could make
it's
$1
really
million
great.
this year. We're only in Q1.
Oof.
So if you think about it, you have
Yeah.
the last 9 months
Yes.
to really hit this $1 million mark, and you absolutely could. And one of the things that I always tell my mastermind clients is like, hey, I would love for you to focus. So even if you're like, okay, speaking, like I'm gonna just do speaking and influencing to sell this offer. And so like, I'm gonna be pitching speaking engagements every day. Whatever you do, I think that having a daily routine really does help.
That's what I
So
need.
even if it's just, I'm gonna pitch 10 speaking engagements a day.
Yeah.
I'm going to, and I always say for the membership, I told you guys this, I don't know if you were on there when I said it, but it was like, hey, I want you to 10 speaking engagements a day, and then let's do 2 podcasts a day. Because if you know that whenever you speak in front of an audience, you're getting leads, then you need to be speaking in front of an audience as much as humanly possible.
sure.
Even if it's your own audience. Like it does not matter. But I know the more I speak, the more leads we get.
Yes.
The more revenue we're able to generate. So I want to be speaking all the time.
Awesome. I'm going to do it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So what are
Yeah.
you going to do as a result? What are you going to implement?
So I immediately, my next sales call, I'm going to change the pricing. So I have one in the morning, so I will be kind of quoting those prices that we spoke about for sure. And then I will hop on finding speaking engagements. So I'll check out the association database. And like I said, I would love to find some more influencers. So I'll figure out that piece of it, like who I need to kind of reach out to and get another really good, solid influencer to kind of help me reach my goals. So definitely start with those things.
Those are a great top 3.
Yeah.
And I would ask the influencer that you like working with, hey, who else would be a good partner for me? Like, I've loved working with you. We want to start an influencer program. Who else do you think I should look at? And then also just ask on Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
And one thing that I've been noticing lately with my content is maybe I don't have a lot of followers on it. Like on TikTok, I had no followers. Overnight, got 20,000 followers. It was the content, like the algorithms no longer require you to have followers for people to see your content. So I think sometimes people are like, oh, I only have 400 followers, I only have this follower. It's like, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You could have 1 follower and they could show it to 20,000 people because that's just how these platforms work, which is how we can go viral even though we didn't have, like, although I didn't know those people. It happens every 60 or so reels, like we're going viral for something. And so it's like, okay, well, that means that it doesn't matter if you have 1 follower or if you have 100 followers or if you have 1 million followers. If you focus on the quality of the content you put out, the algorithm will work for you to get followers. Same as YouTube.
Okay.
Our YouTube grew because we just kept making videos and they were suggesting those videos to people. So don't think like, I don't have a lot of followers, not a lot of people are gonna see this. Just focus on making the content and making it better each time and looking at, okay, when I put up this kind of video, more people like it.
Right.
I do think content it's a game changer. It's just such an intangible, like to trace, like they saw this reel and they became a client because they saw this reel and they went to another reel. But if you have that content, people will sell themselves on your information.
Awesome. I'm going to do it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, this was awesome.
This was great. Oh my goodness. I know, okay, if y'all got value from this, let us know in the comments. And how can people find you? If they're like, hey, I've been struggling with weight loss. I need to get this together. I want some answers.
Absolutely. So my website is drnatasharyan.com. You can find me on Instagram at Dr. Natasha Ryan.
Yes, I love that. Well, please hit her up, you guys. Like, get the results that you need. And if you are someone who's like, hey, Ashley, I would love to do a coaching episode with you, apply to do a coaching episode with us. We'll put the link in the description here because I want to see you. They're in person, they're fun, and they're full of value. And would you say this was worth you doing a coaching episode?
It was worth the drive from Charlotte.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
All right, awesome. All right, guys, well, I will see you next time. And do not forget, we are going on tour, okay? So I'm pulling up to Atlanta, Chicago, New York, Dallas, Houston, DMV. I'm coming to you, okay? So don't worry, you're like, oh, you're not coming to my city. Just fly to whatever city is nearest you. And I want to see you at the Your First $25,000 Offer Tour. We're gonna be doing hot seats. We're gonna have workbooks for those who get a VIP ticket. And you guys, The only unfortunate thing is I only have 50 seats per city. There are already hundreds of you that are on the wait list. So get on the wait list. The wait list gets an hour head start to get their ticket before we release it to anyone else. And when they drop, general tickets are only $99. Like, do not ask me to come to any other event for this rate, because I'm not gonna do it. I just got the budget for this tour from my team, and we're gonna be raising that rate at midnight on the day those tickets drop if they're not already sold out. So this is your chance. Come to the tour, whether you're already making millions of dollars and want to add corporate speaking, or you just want a reassessment of your products for scale, or you're someone who's like, hey, I'm just getting started. I maybe have my first 50K year, but I do want to have that first 7-figure year. Nothing is out of reach. Literally, when you make a decision to grow, everything grows. So do not wait. If you are curious about it, this is the perfect event for you. From fully experienced to just getting started, we are gonna have content that directly speaks to you, and I wanna see you at the tour. So go to www.speakyourwaytocash.com/tour, get on the wait list, and on April 1st at 8 a.m. Eastern, those tickets are going to release to the wait list first. That is your best chance at making sure you are in the room, and I wanna see you there. And bring a friend. All right, I'll see you guys there.
Yeah. Energy high, excuses low. Energy high, excuses low. Energy high, excuses low. Energy high, excuses low. I need energy, need only good people that's around me. All the faith you can give, that's the recipe.